Hi guys, welcome to a very interesting showcase from IEM Singapore. This is from Group C, I think, and we're showcasing two of the lesser known players. In the top right, the blue Zerg, he plays for Team Frenetic Array. He is Ninja.
And spawning across from him on the map of Cloud Kingdom, this is Team Alien Invasion's Tarrantius, playing as the Red Protoss.
Alright, now we got this selection by me telling Eclipse to pick a couple of numbers, and we ended up with this Group C set of folders of replay. So, from the IEM replay pack. But I'm looking forward to it because lesser known players always do interesting things.
Here we go straight away. AI's Tarrantius, he's gonna drop his pylon on the low ground, looking out for a Forge Fast Expand or a Nexus Forge type opening from him, and he's going straight into the Zerg base to do some scouting.
By the way, did I tell you that there was an earthquake last night while I was casting Liquid Hero and Azulu Violet? It was very interesting. It was I thought it was about a 3.0 a couple miles away. It turns out it was a 6.1 and a 6.4 about 15 seconds apart in about 120 miles off the coast of San Diego. It was rather ridiculous that I felt it for over 40 seconds here in West Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a pretty big earthquake.
Yeah, I wonder if there were any tsunamis that went with it, or even just any waves for Mexican surfers.
Waves at least.
Let's do Nexus first, indeed, coming down for Alien Invasion's Tara, and a quick third placement because I guess he was blocked at his natural.
Straight into the game, though. The Ninja, he went really early spawning pool. He knew he wasn't getting a hatchery down with the Protoss player being around his natural there, and this spot to take a hatchery at the third is he almost snuck it over there. It's probably not going to be anything too surprising for the Protoss player. It's a somewhat common response to a probe blocking their natural. Just go straight over to the third and take another hatchery there.
Yeah, these two players seem to have a gentleman's agreement to go for the long game.
Yeah, here we see the Protoss player just setting their wall up, Forge Gateway pylon with a cannon behind it. He is going to be on a pretty safe 2 bases here against a quick 3 bases from the Zerg player. So we're going to see in a little bit of a macro game here out of these two.
I'm curious as to when they're going to drop gas, because we see Tarrantius dropping his right now, and I'm pretty sure that Ninja's going to drop 2 right away as soon as he gets his first queen out.
Well, with 3 bases, you don't really want to go any farther with no gas. Anything more than that would just be craziness. He's going to want to get his drone saturated and start getting the gas to start his tech up.
Interestingly, out of Tarrantius, we see the cybernetics core powered by a low ground pylon on the high ground. That's something I've only seen a few times out of pros, and they do it for that utilization of the actual pylon, because they don't have any in their main base, but they don't want to build another on the high ground simply to protect the cybernetics core.
Yeah, this is pretty common on this map. We're starting to see it more often than not. This very exact opening that you're seeing on Tarrantius, it'll protect the cybernetics core in the case of a roach rush out of the Zerg player, and he won't be able to see the high ground unless he has an Overlord very near there, which is not common at all. This just gives him the chance to not lose his, if you're breaking this wall as a Zerg player, if you snipe the cybernetics core, you will not have to deal with any more stalkers, and it will make this whole defense a whole lot harder for the Protoss player. With that position of the cybernetics core, it'll make sure that is a perfectly safe building, and the Protoss player will be able to hold this wall very easily.
Now, we just now see gas coming down for Ninja at his third base of all places. He took his merry time getting it, to be honest.
Yeah, we're two Vespine extractors from the Zerg player versus 4 for the Protoss player. We're going to be seeing the Zerg player, he's just going to be finishing up his drone saturation and going straight into some Roach and some lower tech lair play straight from there. It's going to be straight into robotics facility for the Protoss player. He needs to be safe. Everyone, all the Protoss players, they want to get that robotics facility out as early as they can to make sure they have the detection, to make sure they have the ability to spawn the strong immortal units against like an armored unit rush, which you see a lot, as a cheese type strategy.
Indeed, we see the Roach Warren coming out for Ninja along with that fast layer for those Glio reconstruction, the speed claws for Roaches. And the forward pylon looks like it has been completely spotted and will be sent in with slow wings, although it just got canceled.
Yeah, these Zerglings, they did a good job kind of prodding ahead of the creep spread here and finding that pylon that was going to threaten the third base and just kind of getting it out of the way.
Do you peg Ninja as being one of those heavy creeping type of players? I like his placement of the macro hatch to indeed spread the creep just over that little pathway from the main creep to the ramp.
Judging by what I see from Ninja so far, I wouldn't really quantify him as a super solid creep spread type Zerg. I think he is just doing the bare minimum here, using that hatchery to sort of cheat the creep from his main down to his natural. He's just now taking his gases to get to that heavy gas tech that Zerg needs to produce their mid to late game units. The very interesting thing here was this first expansion at where the third would normally be. He's kind of got that set up and defended relatively well for what he's using here. He's got the spine crawler in the mineral line. He's got creep spread all around that base, and he's just going to be pretty safe in that general area. He's got to now like work back towards the natural is the big thing here.
Now Tarrantius has seen all of this with that observer. He's even seeing the train of Zerglings coming in towards the third, and he's well prepared with a number of sentries and immortal and even some just very few zealots. We won't need him if he does enough of the correct force fields, but Ninja just runs right back out to poke again another day.
This is really interesting. These speedlings could have probably forced a cancel on this third here from Tarrantia, but he didn't want to risk losing all those units to the force fields from these 5 sentries here.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Tarrantia spent the 900 minerals he had built up on a number of huge upgrades, including the Roach speed is now done. These are now speedlings. We see missile attacks coming in, pathogen glands, and a number of infestors.
At the same time, we see Tarrantia dropping a second robotics facility and also getting his robotics support there. He's going to go into some really, really heavy Colossus play here, which is going to catch the Zerg player in a really bad place if he doesn't get inspired pretty soon.
And we see Ninja taking full map control, and except for this observer. I mean, he hasn't done anything about that. He's got enough infestors. He could plop a fungal down and just get rid of it, but we see the heavy wall off at the front for Tarrantius, and he's just banking on an attack at this third base. But we see a fifth base already coming down from Ninja. This is greedy, but I don't think that Tarrantius has seen it yet. No, vision on his observer says he hasn't seen the fifth base, and the number of drones for Ninja is 74 against 65 probes for Tarrantius.
Yeah, Ninja, he's going straight. He's cutting corners here a lot. You can see he only has 5 infestors as really high-tech units to try to defend all of these 5 bases. So far it's working out for him, but if the Protoss player gets 3 or 4 Colossus and decides to move out, he's not going to have enough units to defend right up until the Spire gets ready to help him defend these bases. The Spire's only half done right now. He needs Corruptors to stop all these Colossus. And I don't think he's even seen the Spire yet, so he doesn't know exactly what's coming out of the Protoss.
Tarrantius now has 2 zealots rolling around the bottom right part of the map, and they're rallied all the way up into Ninja's 5th base, so I assume he suspects that there is something already there, but Ninja, with his 34 supply lead, is going to do a little bit of poking. I don't know exactly why he sent all of his lings back home, because they're not going to be able to take out the observer that was patrolling over his main base.
See, Ninja, he knows exactly what his opponent is doing right now, and he is just doing his best to power up and get exactly the tech and the economy he needs to overrun this Protoss on 3 bases.
we see Blink coming out, and we see a huge number of gateways coming down for Tarrantius. He does have, indeed, some Colossi on the field, 3 so far, with another one just about to pop. Zealot legs coming in, and Protoss ground level weapons 2 coming in, as well as a freaking Templar Archives. These guys are going for max before they ever do any freaking attack. This is...
They're both almost playing as if there's no opponent on the map at all.
Yeah,
they're just
practice round against easy AI.
Setting their econ as much as they please is before they even acknowledge there's an enemy on the field to engage.
2 changelings coming in and seeing this army positioning from Ninja by Tarrantius, and he's free to run right in. He did not see the fact that there were slow zealots on the map, and that's the way that you can tell changelings are indeed slower than regular zealots.
Here we see Tarrantius working around the bottom part of the map, just taking out some creep with the Berserker with his army. There's not going to be anything significant happening here. He wants to make sure that the creep is nowhere near his attempted 4th base here, so he can try to secure that as best as he can.
This huge amount of lings on the map is crying my computer, I think. We see an attack at the 5th base right now by Tarrantius. He's going to just go ahead and pick that off. And a huge ling attack coming in at Tarrantius' own 4th, with a split off going for that 3rd base. The changeling has been there the entire time, just walking around. And these lings, if they're not targeting the Nexus, they're not going to be doing any kind of damage right here. They better go ahead and take that out.
Yeah, for a little bit.
He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Zerglings are, for a little while, they're attacking the Warping and Zealots. A terrible mistake though. He does take down the Nexus, but not before the Colossus get in the position to take out most of the Zerglings.
That's a great circle around coming back towards this 4th base.
Yeah, we see both these players
is already being rebuilt.
Both these players playing super greedy. We see the Zerg just his 4th and 5th bases. He wasn't worrying about much anything other than mining gas. He wants to get to this late game kind of tech composition of Broodlords and Infestors, and he was not going to let anything stop him.
We do see Broodlords coming out on the map right now. He has 8 and 5 more in production. He's going to be able to do some heavy damage against these Protoss with 1-2 and 2-2 for the Zerg, with plus nothing on the air, but the melee attack is already at 2, so Broodlings are going to do heavy damage. There's a big attack at the 4th base from Tarrantius on Ninja, and the great force fields are keeping out all reinforcements. But those Broodlords, if they were in position, they can shoot over force fields. It's not a big deal. What you doing, Ninja?
We see Tarrantius kind of setting up here. He knows a little bit what's going on here. Taking out these extra bases is really lowering the Zerg's gas income. He's also getting ready with a Stargate, as well as some Psystorm research here. Starting to research some weapon or armor upgrades to help him take a little bit more damage, to be a little more durable in these fights.
I'd love to see some great Broodlord flanking in this game, but I doubt we're going to see it. You don't ever see them come in over the groundless air area, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, this isn't a super great map for Broodlords, but Broodlords is the sort of the best tech endgame for Zerg right now.
With all these Blink Stalkers, I'm a little afraid for them. If there's any miss micro on the part of Ninja, who is down 30 supply right now, and not even a 200 supply cap, where did he lose all these overlords?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Ultras play unless it's a really, really wide open map, but we don't see a lot of wide open maps anymore. I think the last huge wide open map that we saw very often was Tal'Darim Altar, and that is starting to phase its way out of competitive play here. At the same time, we're seeing the Protoss player jumping up a bunch of gateways. He's going to want to be able to drop some Templars into battle and some Archons whenever he gets the chance. He also has a Fleet Beacon just finished. We'll probably see a Mothership start of him pretty soon, as Vortex is the best way for him to deal with a huge Broodlord army.
Looks like he sent in a number of units to either sack them for more Colossi, but he did pick off that infestation pit, but he won't get one of the 2 spires. And he does see double tech, and there's another huge attack sniping off that 4th once again. Sorry for missing it, talking about the harassment. That was great play by Tarrantius, taking Ninja completely out of it with the clean. These Broodlords did a lot of damage, it looks like, but they also took some.
And at the same time, we see Ninja. He has really, really rushed his economy, and he hasn't been harassed too much in that process. And he's got a lot to show for it. He currently has 13 Broodlords and 15 Infestors. That is an unbelievably scary late game for the Zerg player. And we're going to see him starting to move out pretty soon and trying to get some good position on this Protoss player. He'll be able to pressure some extending bases. He's going to try to get to the point where he will not let the Protoss expand to a 5th base. And from there, it's just going to be all Zerg banking minerals and gas and trying to be able to repopulate his army as soon as he loses it.
We see some Zealots roaming around the north west part of the map, going down around the north bend, being seen by that Overlord and being picked up by all these a fungal and all these Zerglings. But we also see another harassment group of Zealots coming in from this heavily mineraled Protoss, who has much better economy, it seems, right now than the Zerg does, and he's just going to go in and try to snipe off this Greater Spire now that he knows where it is. A brand new infestation pit is going to be picked off, and Zerglings are going to go for the Spire, taking Zealot at Zealot. Takes out that infestation pit with his dying swipe.
Yeah, he's done an incredible job here of keeping the Zerg player away from the neuroparasite tech, which is what the Zerg needs to deal with the mothership. He's been trying as hard as he can to get an infestation pit up, and he was halfway through a neuroparasite the very first time that he lost the infestation pit. And this is he's making right now his third infestation pit of the game, and it's going to come down to a big, huge battle. He's going to definitely need that neuroparasite.
Tarrantius is taking his 5th in the bottom right, while Ninja is retaking his former 5th, but he doesn't have it saturated at all. And there are how many drones on the map? Only 57. When did he kill a bunch? Mostly with Zealots, I'm assuming. And the Zealots over here have just seen that. They did not see the creep. And they just keep getting picked off. And the bank that Tarrantius had is now dwindling fast. And these Templar that I see are a great choice, but I think they're almost more useful right now for feedbacking Infestors than for storming. If they can feedback any of these full energy Infestors, then there's going to be huge amounts of damage and a huge loss of viability. There's the feedbacks, heavy feedbacks going down. 6 Infestors lost minimum, and Tarrantius is losing some heavy supply right now, even though a semi-okay Vortex, the splitting by the Broodlords was great for Ninja, and the supplies remain even with a huge blink forward by these Blink Stalkers, picking off 1, 2, 3, 4 Broodlords so far, and they just have some heavy transfuses coming from the Queens in the back, and too many Broodlords. There's 13 on the map right now, getting transfused from over 5 Queens, and there are no more Blink Stalkers left. Tarrantius is now down almost 100 supply. His 4th is getting taken out. 5th is spotted by an Overlord, and it's the end of the game, I'm pretty sure, from Ninja's point of view.
What we haven't mentioned at all is Ninja. He went really, really, really early to Spires. He is currently on 2-2 air units, or 2-2 air upgrades, working on 3 attack. He's halfway through 3 attack for his air units, and these upgrades have really made a huge difference with these Broodlords. They're so much more durable with that 2 armor upgrade, and they're doing just a ridiculous amount of damage with each Broodlord Broodling that comes out of these armies.
That's right, Broodlings do hit for damage. Right now, Broodlords do 24 damage just on the initial hit of the Broodlings, and the Broodlings get that melee damage increase upgrade working for them. So
the Broodlings are currently at they're currently at 3-2, so these upgrades for the Zerg player are just ridiculous. They're really, really just showing this Protoss player that he is completely outclassed in this battles, and between Broodlings and Zerglings, the Zerg Protoss player just has no answer.
We see the last vestiges of the Protoss army just hanging around in the middle saying, "What do I do now, boss?" As his main base is just getting destroyed by these cracklings, going to town, biting up all the Protoss metal they can find. Does it nourish them? I don't think so. It's like a salad. It's not a whole lot of nutrients in there, but they don't really need it. They just eat a whole bunch of it like 3 goes off, and they are good to go for the day. A nice little nutrient paste back from the queen or something like that. I don't know how it's feed. But we're going to keep on rambling until this game ends, and Kara just takes the hint and leaves. Come on, man! You're 150 supply down right now. He's doing his best. These Colossi and the mothership right now with some delaying vortex, but again, vortexes for the sake of vortexes. It does really nothing to help you after the attack because there's a 6 supply right now. There's the GG Zerg from Alien Invasions Tarrantius, and we were going to roll right into the second game right about now. Thanks very much for watching Chaotic TV. I'm Chaotic, he's Eclipse, and we're going to jump right in the next one. Cheers.